Hey, good morning, friends. I'm Wayne from the Franklin County Public Library. I take care of all of our mobile media services, and we are glad to welcome you to our brand new 24-hour library location. This is called SummitView. It's at the SummitView Commerce Park here in Franklin County, and we're glad to welcome you here today. I want to give you a brief tour. Let's go on in. All right, here's the great machine. It really is going to appear a whole lot like a vending machine to you, only on a supersized level. It's full of books. It's a little hard to tell probably in this image, but there are 3 different rows there, an upper, a middle, and a lower row of book spines. You can read those spines. There's a number associated with each one of those. You'll need that in a few minutes once you've looked at the selections that are available to you. And then I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to check things out and return things here to the SummitView 24-hour library. All right, now you've arrived. Here we are in our shelter that houses this 24-hour library unit. Very quickly, inside the building, let me describe to you, there is a book drop where you are actually able to return library items. It's a very traditional kind of a drop, a slotted top that houses then an internal box that receives all those items. We check that regularly, and just so you know how that works, basically every time we retrieve from there, we would check those items in based on the last day we cleaned it out. So if I cleaned it out today and I didn't return until Friday of this week, I would have checked all of those items in with Tuesday's check-in date, just to make sure that we're covering all of those returns for you. You're also able to return items in the 24-hour library unit, and I'll show you about that in just a couple of minutes. This is a beautiful facility. We are here on the campus at the Commerce Park, and we are right on the edge of what has been termed as a pocket park. And so Franklin County Parks and Recreation has this portion of the property that's right around us. There's already a walking trail in place, and we see it used already with regularity. And so we're excited about the prospect not only of having those kinds of neighbors, but this kind of green space to do maybe some library programming when the weather permits and those kinds of things. And so we're looking forward to the potential that is here with this location. Let me walk you through a couple of steps. As you approach the machine, one of the first things, as I mentioned a moment ago, you're going to notice are the shelves themselves. Don't be alarmed. They are on an automatic rotation of changing the view in front of the window for you to be able to see that. But there's also on the screen, and I'm just going to walk you through without moving the camera all these places, but there's a tab marked Show More Items. If you touch that tab, it will begin a process then of letting the books begin to move around so that you might check them out and see them, determine which item you might be interested in, and then find the appropriate number of that bin location. The whole process starts with your Franklin County Library card. And so it is going to require a physical card in your presence at the time of making a process here at the machine. And so whether that's your full-size card or maybe your keyring size card you carry with you very conveniently, you're going to need that physical card, in particular the physical barcode that is there. There's no manual entry of that. It's all about scanning that barcode so that it identifies who you are as the user. And so as you approach the machine, you've got the touch panel screen ready for you to use. And so the first item, if you choose you want to check out, I'm going to hit the checkout button, and it changes the screen, and it's waiting for me to scan my library card. As soon as I've scanned my card, the next thing it wants to know from me is my PIN number, my personal identification number that you've already established with the library. Maybe many of you will remember that with a recent computer programming changeover, all of those at that time were automatically reset to the last 4 digits of your library card. And so unless you've altered it, ask the library staff to alter that in the last 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months, that is the PIN number that's automatically assigned to your account, the last 4 digits of your library card. Now then, once I've made that checkout choice, I've scanned I'm going to put in the library that was signed there, or the pen that was assigned there. It brings up my name. I can see my name that's on the account on the screen. I can see any number of items that I currently have checked out. I can see any number of fines that I might have checked out. I can see a number of holds that I might have available for me, and we'll talk about holds in just a few moments. Once I've done that, then it gives me the opportunity, and I apologize, it keeps kind of going to sleep since I am talking longer than it takes me to normally do the process. But if I choose to check something out, I would choose next, and then I'm going to enter a 4-digit slot number. And so each one of these slots right under the item that you're looking at has been assigned a number. So I'm going to pick one that I see in front of me, and then you're going to begin to see, or hear at least, a process of these shelves moving. It's going to begin a process internally that lowers the item to a pickup drawer. And I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit and show you the pickup drawer as it begins to work for us here in just a moment. Just below the windows there is a slot that is going to open in just a moment, and that book that I have chosen is going to begin its slide out of that slot. You see it open, a little sound that tells me that I now have the book. The slot has closed, and it asks me if I want to do something else, which would be to choose another book if that was my choice, or to say that I am done with that process. Now then, it gives me the option to print a receipt or to not print a receipt. I'm going to print it, and it spits out a receipt for me that tells me today's date. It tells me the due date of the item. It tells me the item that I have checked out, and so I am good to go. I can take my book, go home, and enjoy my reading. One other thing I want to show you on here, you have the ability to return items, and so I'm going to go through that process while we're standing together today. So I don't need my card to do that. I'm going to walk up to the menu screen that's going to be available to me when I arrive at the building. I'm going to hit the return. The slot that we showed you a few moments ago is already open at this point. I'm going to insert this book with the barcode of the item facing up. So I've got the leading edge of my barcode facing up. I'm going to slide it into the open slot, just kind of slide it gently, and that slot is mechanized and will take the item and pull it on through. Now, if it gets a successful barcode scan, now you've used those self-scan checkouts at other places, I am sure. You know how it is. Sometimes you scan an item and you have to slide it around 2 or 3 times before it actually reads. Well, that's the reality of a barcode reader, and so sometimes it's not a successful read. But that's what it's attempting to do. It's attempting to read the barcode that was on that book item so that it can take it off of your account. Now, in my case, as we just demonstrated, I don't mind showing you, but it did not recognize the title of the item. It knew I put an item in. In fact, I'm going to tell it I'm done, and I'm going to print a receipt. Now, it's going to show that I deposited something in the return, but because it couldn't scan, it was not able to tell me exactly what item. Don't let that worry you, please. We're going to operate our book drops that are internal to the machine, just like I described the external book drop. Anything that we pick up, retrieve out of the machine, we will check it in based on the date of the last occasion we were here. I hope that's not too confusing, but the last time we were here, that's the date we will use. Then whatever date we show back up that next trip, in order to say it was backdated, it was here by that date. And so we're going to try our best to avoid issues with overdue items and things of that nature. But we're excited about it. Let me show you one more feature of the machine that you'll be intrigued to use from time to time, and we want to encourage you to do that. Let me pause just a moment. I'm going to change my camera angle and take you around the side of the building. All right, we're still under the shelter, and we're still right here beside our 24-hour library unit. But if you follow around to your right as you would be standing here, there is a display panel on the end of this screen. And now, because of the sunlight and the lighting that's here right now, you can obviously not see it very well, or certainly its content at this moment, but it's right here. I'm trying to figure out how to point. There we go. And on there, we keep information about library happenings, things that are occurring at the library. And right now, it's kind of a static display and just some standard sorts of items. But as time progresses, we will put some items on there. So I want to encourage you to walk around the edge. Maybe when you're here at the library, take a look at some of those items and see what's upcoming at the library that can benefit you, and we're excited to do some of those things. I want to give you one more little piece of information here at our 24-hour library unit. I mentioned earlier that I would tell you a little bit about our hold process and holds that happen. Let me tell you, at this time we are not doing any kind of reserves or hold items that get picked up at this location. And likewise, we are not able to, we choose not to be able to hold items that you happen to see in this machine. So the items you see here are kind of like we use in the buildings. If you've been around some of those things, we refer to as lucky you, and it's just that. If it's in the machine, you are welcome to check it out. If it's not in the machine, sorry, you know, we rotate the inventory there. We've got a supply of other things, so that not only do we try to keep slots filled, but we want to rotate the materials, and we have a plan to do that several times throughout the course of the year, that we would change mass amounts of the material that you find here. So at this point, there's no plan to make items reserved to this location or from this location, or anything that you might pick up here that has transmitted from another location. And so all of that really stays the same. If you're used to finding an item in our catalog that displays in one branch and you need to pick it up physically in another branch, that still is a working plan, but this is not part of that system. And so electronically it will not show you those options, and so hopefully that's not too disturbing to you, but that's the plan that we want to use as we proceed forward with this. It's a beautiful site out here. In fact, let me just kind of turn myself around just a little bit. On the far hill, you can see under construction still the Valley Star office building that will soon be occupied. We're excited to be a neighbor with folks like that here in the Franklin County SummitView Commerce Park. Give you an idea, you can see in the distance there some of that pavement. That's actually a graveled walking trail that goes down through there, and the green space. 220 is what you're looking at in the distance with the traffic, but a very beautiful site, beautiful scenery, and I believe you'll enjoy a visit to the Franklin County Library, 24-hour library. We encourage you to do that. It indeed is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Come and see us.